As a collective, there is one thing the Call of Duty community all agrees on, and it is the Galil being one of the best guns in the franchise, like of all time. The Galil just oozes class, and I think it may be the gun that sits at the very top of the Call of Duty weapon spectrum. The Galil is also most known for its appearance in Black Ops 1, but it has in fact been in every single iteration of Black Ops, from 1 all the way up to the most recent being Cold War. So I'm gonna make my way through each and every Black Ops game using the Galil in Zombies and seeing if I can hit any round 50s. We start on Kino de Toten, Black Ops 1, and fun fact, a lot of you seem to think I record these in chronological order. I don't. They're actually recorded in reverse order. Gotta get the fun ones done first, And yes, you did just see me use the console commands to give myself the Galil. You see, the Galil is, and always has been, a box exclusive weapon, and we all know how I feel about trying to get specific things from the box. So where I can, I will 1000% cheat to make my life a lot less stressful. With the Galil equipped, my job is now super simple, at least for the early rounds. I hung about in spawn and just popped heads for 6 rounds, which is considerably easier when you have a Galil. Who could have seen that coming? At the end of round 6, after gathering together all of the cheddar, I headed off for power, and shortly later, I had my 3 perks. Yes, I said 3. I don't know how many more times I need to tell you all, but I am never buying a Double Tap 1.0 unless I'm using the HK21. I will reinforce this every single time so people finally understand 1.0 Double Tap is ass. It also didn't take me too much longer to get Pack-a-Punch open for the Galil. In fact, it was round 10. And I'm not gonna lie, the rest of this run was just very rudimentary. The Galil in Black Ops 1 smacks. I believe it's the strongest assault rifle in the game, well, in Zombies at least, with its damage topping out at a little over 1000 to the head. It's not the most insane damage in the world, but for Black Ops 1, it's not bad. The Galil's damage may only mean it's guaranteed one shot to the head for a short period, but paired with its high ammo count and fire rate, it will certainly keep you alive for many, many rounds. And in my case, it did just that. The Galil cruised its way through the teen rounds. I mean, most of this may have come down to the fact that for about 75% of the enemies, they were all crawlers. And I'm being serious. I dead ass think the vast majority of zombies I killed in this game were Nova crawlers. I mean, the amount that was spawning at least made it seem that way. Shit was weird, to be honest. Also a little annoying. Not that fun having a bunch of little gremlins constantly munching at your toes. The Galil may have cruised its way through the teen round with little to no trouble, but as we hit the 20s, the Galil hit a brick wall. The gun's damage at this point isn't awful, but it definitely isn't as good as you'd like, and around 22, I ended up taking my first down. I was training together zombies. I took a risk, I won't lie. I did try to loop the train back in on itself in a pretty dumb position, and well, it bit me in the ass, and I took the L. It's not the only one we take on this round as well. You see, it's pretty early on into the round, and I'm in full panic mode, and all I want once I'm back on my feet is Jug, but I couldn't get to it. So I tried to make my way around the map, only to be greeted by more zombies. So I headed back the way I came, just for a literal army of crawlers to appear out of left field and ruin my day even more. And just like that, Black Ops 1's run comes to a close. Now, Black Ops 2. I learned that Black Ops 2 is the only game where you can't just give yourself a gun via the command console. Mod menus on this game are also kinda trash. Either they just give you the Pack-a-Punch only versions, which is boring, or the menu just stays on screen, at all times, which just looks ass. Now you may say, just get the gun from the box. Well, I tried that. For 90 minutes, I spun the box for 90 minutes and got absolutely nothing. Well, that's not entirely true. I got basically every other gun in the game, but not the Galil. But back to the console commands quickly. There is a command to give yourself the Galil, but when you try it in a normal game or like a normal lobby, it says cheats must be enabled, which in my head means custom game cheats. So off I went, and it didn't work. And one thing that makes this all so much more annoying is that just a few days ago, for another video I made, I got the Galil first time from the box unburied. And with that, I was very tilted and I gave up and moved to Black Ops 3. I moved to Black Ops 3, which is a game where I can use a mod menu that isn't complete trash. A mod menu that will give me the gun I want, a mod menu that will make my life so much easier. So yes, Black Ops 3. Ascension, Galil only. On paper, this should be one of the easiest things I ever do, and this game very much felt that way in the early rounds. I stayed in spawn for a while, I won't lie, mainly due to the fact that the Galil in this game is ever so slightly stronger than its predecessors. On round 7, I finally decided it was time to make a move, and that move was power, and to also start working on getting Pack-a-Punch open. Although I did also end up taking it down on round 7 as well. Yeah, not my best moment, but oh well. We got our second lander done on round 8, and I followed that up by getting myself the proper double tap in 2.0. Round 9 was monkeys, and they stole my jug. Yeah, it just hit me with the old bait and switch, and before I knew it, I was $2.5 grand out of pocket once again. Things went all bad though. I spent the next 2 rounds grinding out points. I got the final lander done, Pack-a-Punch open, and upgraded the Galil. The following round, I grabbed my final perk, being Stamina Up, and got to work on grinding out these rounds. I was feeling pretty groovy during these rounds as well, and the Galil with double tap was clapping some ass. With the added damage from double tap, the Galil is putting out a little under 2500 damage, which is a healthy increase from what we were doing on Black Ops 1. The increase in damage makes the Galil a one-shot until round 19. So the teen rounds were in fact an absolute breeze, and even the 20s started off pretty easy. The zombies were going down easily, but there was one round that was causing me some issues, and that was the monkey rounds. These rounds are just annoying as hell on Black Ops 3. A lot of that comes down to the fact that the monkeys on this game are built like literal miniature Hulks. Like, I don't understand how a zombie dies in 2 bullets, but a monkey, a literal space rat, is chowing down on bullets as if someone just handed them a bunch of bananas. Like, they're just little psychopaths. I hate them. The monkeys weren't the only annoying things happening during the 20s, as I also took another down, this time coming on round 24. I'm training the zombies, and I just straight up don't see the zombie ahead of me. That ends up trapping me, and before I know it, I'm down. Upon reviving, I get my perks back and continue going through the rounds, where I end up going through 2 more monkey rounds, but those rounds end with me getting myself 2 free perks. I mean, they weren't the best perks in the world for Ascension, as they were Deadshot and Widows, but I'll happily take some free goodness. We were now well into the 30s, and the Galil was still doing a very good job in terms of damage, but the ammo situation, well, it was bad. It was very bad. I was allowing myself to use cashbacks and raindrops for max ammos, but I hadn't been keeping up with them, as for a good 10 or so rounds, the zombie gods had been blessing me with ammo. That was until round 33. I ran out of bullets, like completely, and it's panic mode in my pea-sized brain. So I train the zombies together and get to spinning the gobblegum machine. First spin, bullet boost. Not what I wanted. Second spin, raindrops. Exactly what I wanted. But as I grab the gumball, I take a few too many hits and I take a down. Now, what I didn't realize was I didn't actually activate the raindrops as I downed, like, because I didn't eat the gobblegum. I of course did not notice this, as I was too focused on dying. I revive and pop what I think is raindrops. It isn't. And I think you can tell from my reaction that I was a little confused as to where my power-ups were. And it was at this time I realized what had actually happened, and a few short seconds later, it was game over. Yeah, the brain cells definitely weren't brain selling on that day. You know what I'm saying? Black Ops 4 is up next. Now, Black Ops 4 doesn't really have any mod menus or ways to just outright give yourself the gun that you want, but it does come with custom mutations, which is where this game takes place. I mean, it actually takes place on Blood of the Dead, but you get what I mean. I chose to do this in custom mutations mainly because there is about 200 things in this game's mystery box, and what custom mutations allows you to do is literally turn off mostly every weapon type in the game. So that's what I did. Unfortunately, you can't turn off all of the weapons. There's no option for pistols or special weapons. That means all of the pistols, which there aren't that many of, thankfully, and everything like the Blundergat, the Reaver, the ballistic knife, they're all still in the box. And obviously, every single assault rifle in the game is also there. As you've seen from the early game clips, my luck with the box wasn't great. I was getting everything but the Galil, or in this game's case, the Grav. Stupid name, but it's the Galil. It's also the same name they use in Cold War. After 7 rounds, it was starting to look quite bleak, but then out pops the Grav and my mental is saved. The Galil in this game is also pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the Black Ops 3 Galil, and it certainly isn't better than the Cold War version, but it isn't bad. It sits in this nice middle ground, you know? Yes, a lot of that does come down to Black Ops 4's health mechanic, with zombies hitting health cap at about round 35, I believe, and the guns not having the most ridiculous damage multipliers and so on, but, you know, it isn't bad. The rest of the early game, once I got my hands on the Galil, consisted of me just getting power turned on and also building the shield so I could get Pack-a-Punch open. After getting the power on and having a few frantic rounds at the docks, I headed back into the prison, where the chaos just continued, and I ended up taking an early down, which was, you know, quite annoying. From here, I got the shield built and Pack-a-Punch open, and now my focus was only on getting the Galil upgraded as quickly as I could. Things obviously couldn't just be simple though, could they? As on round 13, after getting my first upgrade, Brutus spawns and almost rails me in a corner. He then spawns again 2 rounds later, just sending my 4 brain cells into panic mode like that one episode from SpongeBob. Eventually, things calmed down. The Pack-a-Punch moved, annoyingly, just as I was about to get my last upgrade, but it meant I no longer had to train on the roof, as it's just madness up there. However, instead of chasing the Pack-a-Punch, I just got my perks and headed over to spawn, and got to making my way through the rounds. Now that I wasn't in panic mode, I could actually see how good the Galil was. You know, it was decent. It wasn't one shot until the 20s good, but it was enough. Also, I've just remembered they nerfed the hell out of this thing's fire rate by like a good 200 RPM as well. Still to this day, don't really understand why they did that, but even with the nerf, it was still going strong. Round 20, I finally got my final upgrade for the Galil, and it was still doing pretty well, and it did so for quite a few more rounds. That was until around the mid-20s. The damage was still okay, but ammo was a huge problem, and I forgot to put on the cashback elixir, or whatever the equivalent is in this game. With that, I was on the ropes, and on round 27, I was screwed. I was finally out of bullets, no grenades. The only thing I had to kill zombies was my special weapon, but even that was a finite thing. It may have been finite, but it was all I had, so I got to using it in hopes I'd get a maxi. I did not get a maxi. In fact, I got downed, and honestly, I have no idea how. I attack a horde of zombies, but as I do so, I just get insta-downed by something, yeah, the confusion was very real for this one. Upon reviving, I had one chance. I threw down a Wraith Fire, and somehow, by the luck of the gods, got myself a max ammo. I also grabbed a nuke, which I thought would give me enough time to get across the bridge so I could get my perks back. But it did not give me enough time. And within seconds of going up those stairs, I was heading right back down, only this time in a body bag. 3 runs deep, and our best so far was a mid-30s run on Black Ops 3. But you know what they say? Save the best for last. Or in my case, it was actually the first run during this recording process, and I chose Mauer de Toten for this one. probably the hardest map on Cold War, but I had confidence in the Galil, or Grav, or whatever you want to call it. The Galil early doors hits hard in this game. Granted, I do have the starting bonus of Purple Tier, thanks to the Super Easter egg, but goddamn it smacks. I spent a fair few rounds in the starting room, grinding out as many points as I possibly could. Round 7, I made a mad dash across the map, getting power, perks, and Pack-a-Punch open. I hadn't yet Pack-a-Punched the gun, which was a mistake, as on round 10, Cransy came a-knocking, which did have me in panic mode, but the Galil did its job, and then I did mine and got it upgraded. With Deadshot and Pack-a-Punch, there is no stopping the Galil. Assault rifles in Cold War don't do the most damage in the world, and the Galil tops out at around 14 to 15k damage, which is still good, don't get me wrong. And that is also factoring in Deadshot, by the way. With that damage, the Galil is capable of one-shotting zombies to the head until round 32. So yeah, it's pretty damn good. However, it is not good against anything that isn't irregular zombies, and also disciples, but the pushovers anyway. Mao de Toten has almost every enemy type in the game, and from round 25 onwards, it is bedlam on this map. And the higher you go, the more the Galil struggles. Around 35, I equipped Deadwire. It's not the most OP, I know, but I didn't want to just become so reliant on something like Shadow Blast, as the Galil does still have something to give at these rounds. Just, it's against the fodder enemies. We crossed into the 40s, and it was just chaos. The sheer amount of special zombies that spawn, it's just madness, but the Galil soldiered on. Round by round, it kept putting down zombies, with maybe a little help from Tesla Storm and grenades, but the Galil did most of the heavy lifting. And after what felt like an eternity, and several years shaved off my life, we finally made it to round 50. The bootleg Galil only went and did it. I know it isn't the same Galil we all know and love, but this one, it's pretty damn good. With that, thank you very much for watching. Drop a like, let me know what other zombie content you want to see from me, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.